because my mother watched my kids and my grandparents were around. And, they saw, so my kids saw their great grandmother um, practically every day, certainly every day of the week, the weekdays. And so, she was around. So we had NHK on TV all the time. So the Japanese language was around. She only spoke Japanese until the day she died. She never really made an attempt to learn English. And so they certainly had the language around, but so much of the culture as well. As you can see, this is a Hinamatsuri set, a Girls' Day set that actually belongs to my mother. And so is 80 some years old from before the war. And she handed it down to my daughter. But so, we had the language, we have the food, we have the holidays, we do osetidori every Christmas, every New Year's, and invite a bunch of people over. My kids went to Japanese school on Saturdays, and with differing levels of commitment and dedication and enthusiasm depending on the child and the time, the period in their life, but all of them through high school, or through at least portions of high school. And it was a very low-key school. They didn't come out fluent or anything, but it was a way for them. They certainly know their hiragana, katakana, and some kanji, and they can listen more than they can speak. But we've definitely made an effort, and we've also made it a point, I think, to share the culture with their communities, and with their classmates at school. So, from the time they were in, preschool, we were doing these little cultural demonstrations, and it would be myself and my mother and my grandmother, and we'd all go into the classroom, and we would do, calligraphy. We would make little ema. We would do Japanese flower arranging with these are Chinese takeout little black containers with styrofoam glued into them. And we would, take carnations and some, branches of something, and the kids would play with it. But we would talk about some of the principles of ikebana, and they would learn a little bit. So, with my daughter, we would do a Hinamatsuri party every year. And the girls would come, and we'd have the dolls out, and we'd do some sort of craft that was related to Japan. They'd often put on yukata, and so to share it was a way of my children, identifying with it, but also taking pride in it. And so I think they feel very close in many ways to their Japanese American heritage and to Japanese American and Japanese culture.